very warm welcome, and I would like to welcome all of you in this international webinar on media writing and ethics in digital era. So to start, I'll start it with a quote that I was just reading it in the morning. So it is from Stephen King. He said that if you want to be a writer, you must do two things above all other. The first is read a lot and then write a lot. Written communication, obviously, is an exceptional characteristics of human species. Over hundred of years, writing has helped individuals to be informed, collaborate, and alert each other. And we all have benefited from written history, culture, and knowledge. And today we are going to have a professional knowledge of writing, since we have dignitaries with us from national and international platforms. So to discuss more on this topic, I would like that they should come up and they should share their knowledge with us. We have one of the most wonderful person with us, our Dean Sir, Dr. M.N. Jha. I would request our Dean Sir to formally open the session and allow us to proceed, and also to enlighten us with his kind words. Sir, please.
Thanks, Dr. Sil. My pleasure. My pleasure. I welcome Mohammed Tawfiq Ilahi from Bangladesh. It's a great to find you over here, sir. I welcome Professor Dr. Suresh Chandra Nayak. He is a friend of my Facebook the first time. So face-to-face online we are Nayak, sir. A wonderful person, the director.
Yes.
You are most welcome, sir. You are most welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
That topic is very apt, and we have wonderful person. It's great to enlighten our students on this matter. One of the effect of the digital revolution is that the people on the opposite side of the will request you, Dr. Sil, to kindly invite the guest and please move ahead. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. I would first like to invite Dr. Professor Suresh Chandra Nayak. It's our privilege, sir, to have you with us today. A little brief about Dr. Suresh Chandra Nayak is presently associated with one of the largest and leading educational institution of India. It is Amity University, Chhattisgarh, as a professor and director, Amity School of Communication, Raipur. Professor Nayak has a brilliant academic character with MA, MPhil in English, PGDRL, LLB, PhD in journalism and mass communication. So we are delighted to have you, sir. I too am looking forward to listen to you. Professor Nayak he has also worked as the principal of OIMC. And was also associated with one of the premier educational institutes of NCR, Delhi. So all in all, I could say that we have a very brilliant academician with us today, who is having not only the academic experience but also practical life experience. So a student would be, enriched with his knowledge as well as the faculties. So I would like to welcome you on the stage, sir. I cannot leave the students, to wait more. Please, sir, we are waiting for you to listen.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you so much, Dr. Jha, Dr. Rajiv ji, and my friend, Dr. Kesav, and the co-panelist, my friend, one of my friend, Dr. Ilahi. Thank you so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity to interact with the young minds, and some of my colleagues are also there. I'm so happy to know that some of the media fraternities, they know everything, I know nothing. Let me tell you, first of all, in the beginning itself, I'm a layman, I'm a common man, and I'm a teacher. My identity is a teacher. I know nothing, but I will try to tell you, looking at the conference topic, the webinar, when I was just going to the topic that digital media media writing in the era of digitization or in the digital era. That means that may be for writing for media, or that may be the ethics which is included in it. So first of all, I would like to thank you, TIAS, Tecnia Institute of Advanced Studies, Delhi, for inviting me in this international webinar. Thank you so much once again. So let me start, and I hope a very good morning to one another, a very good afternoon to one and all present. A number of students, journalism teachers, they have joined from across the globe. So thank you so much. And I will be speaking on writing for media in the digital area, in the digital era. So let me start with because all of us, we are more or less connected with media. Okay, that may be with media industry, or that may be with media education, or that may be with media academics. Okay, all of us, we know who is Marcel McLuhan. I'm not going to that means speak on McLuhan, but I remember the lines of Marcel McLuhan. McLuhan, 40 to 50 years back, he said that the whole world is going to be a global village, and communication becomes more easier than ever before. And this is what in 2022, I am sitting somewhere in some part of the country, you are sitting somewhere, and all of us, we are now connected. This is what digital is. Okay. So, by remembering the statement given by Marcel McLuhan around 40 to 50 years back, when he said that the whole world is going to be a global village, and communication is going to become more easier than ever before. And this is what right now we are realizing, and we are all experiencing the same. Dr. Ilahi from Bangladesh, he joined. I'm sitting somewhere in Odisha. I have joined, and you people, that means the participants from across the globe, they have joined together. And this is how the international webinar is going online. Friends, whenever we are talking of writing, writing is paramount. Why it is paramount? Let me tell you that if you are, as Dr. Seal was saying in the beginning, he was quoting Stephen King. He was saying, if you want to become a great writer, if you want to become a great writer, then you should be a great reader as well. If you are not a reader, you cannot become a writer, great writer. If you are a good reader, then only you can become a writer. So reading is important, and reading is paramount once again. In the era of digitization, you remember those days. I remember the initial days of media, how media evolved. I'm not going to speak on that, but still I will brief you. Starting from the print media, that is your Bengal Gazette, to today's online and e-publishing houses. Now the digitization has influenced every aspect of human life. And you can say it has been the driver behind many ways, and it has a huge impact on the lives of the people. So in the digital era, there is a great saying, my dear friends, content is king. Content is king. That means if you are able to develop good content, then you are going to dominate every aspect of human life. So being a student of journalism, being a faculty of journalism, being a professional who is associated with journalism, he or she should have a grip over writing itself and content itself. And when we say that content is the key, one thing that comes to our mind, what type of content we are going to develop? We are not in 50s and 60s. Even we are not in 70s as well, where we are just supposed to, we were used to, there were only a few newspapers were there, starting from Bengal Gazette to up to 1980s. If you see that the mode of dissemination of information was something different. And the writers who were writing during that time, that was touching. There was no doubt on that. It was highly impactful. Those writers were the great writers that have ever been created in the history. But now the challenge is, during that time, you were supposed to write only for print media. And during the 50s and 60s and up to 70s, you were confined. Your role was confined, being a media writer. Being a journalist, you are supposed to write only for one medium of communication, one channel of communication, that is your newspaper. But gradually, when it flourished, the print media flourished, then your responsibilities that has been grown up like anything. Now, in 2022, in the digital era, in the 21st century, being a journalist, you are supposed to create content for multiple platforms, my dear friends. For multiple platforms, I'm telling you. Your job is not confined to only newspaper. Your job is not confined to only television. And your job is not confined to only radio or any other forms of mass communication. You are supposed to develop content for multiple platforms, starting from the print to the digital media. So think for a while how challenging the job profile of a content writer in today's era. So far as writing is concerned, we should know few things, which is again very important to understand. One is, the more content you produce for others, the more information you gather from different angles, the more interactions you are making with the people, then only you will be able to develop some content. If I ask you a very simple question, my students are there, some of the students are there. If I ask you that why do you read Indian Express or the Hindu or the Times of India, or that may be your Dainik Jagran, that may be your Navara, why do you read that? And I'm sure that you'll say, so we are reading that newspaper, so and so newspaper, because of the content. So now you understand better how important the content is. In the digital era, the face of now in the digital era, what happens? Now a number of information sources are there. You are collecting information from different sources, and you are trying to disseminate the selected ones only. Why the selected ones? Because you know better what exactly the audience they need. So here in the digital era, we are dealing with two types of audience. Two types of audience. One is your human beings, the human audience, and another one is your search engine optimizers. We are not typing, if I want to know something on digital media or something on online media, or that may be on new media, or that may be on traditional media, I don't need to type the entire sentence, only the keywords. If I enter the keywords, then I can get the results, hundreds of results on that. This is what the beauty of the digital media. So friends, now the industry, there was a time that the industry was in need of only specialized people. Thank you so much. And I'm actually very sorry that in between, my dear students, one thing we need to keep in mind, that writing for media is not at all a profession. Rather, I could say that writing is a passion. It should come spontaneously, as rain falls from the heaven.
It should be a spontaneous activity. It is not at all. I never consider writing as a profession. Writing is a passion. You need to hone that skill, and that can only be possible if you are a voracious reader. If you are a voracious reader, then only you can become a good and a prolific writer. Without that, you cannot become a writer. Now moving towards the what kind of content the people, we were just talking about the audience. So in digital era, we are dealing with two types of audience, basically the human beings as well as the search engine optimizations. We never, if I have any doubts, if I want to Google, then I never type the entire sentence. Rather, I just type the keywords. If I want to search anything, I just enter the keywords. I never write the full sentence. That is what the beauty of the digital media. My dear friends, in today's era, in the digital era, when we say that content is the king, and now the industry is in need of the big tech journalist. Big tech journalist. Big tech journalist, why do I say big tech journalist? Because now you need to have a grip over almost all forms of media. Now you tell me, can you tell me that a single that means there are many the eminent media houses who were running the print media. All of them they have converted to the digital media platforms. They have started their online publications, their e-papers that are coming up. People across the globe, they have started using the digital content. I remember when I was a student of journalism mass communication, I remember. And during our days, Jha will agree with me. During our days, we used to sit in the library for hours in order to write something. In order to write a single paragraph, I remember those days. I remember my central library. I used to sit there for hours in order to write a single paragraph, my dear students, I'm telling you, single paragraph. That was a day. But now, everything you are getting within fraction of seconds. Within fraction of seconds, you are getting the content at your disposal. See the beauty of the revolution, the IT revolution. How it transformed the lives of the people. In the digital era, when we are talking of particularly digital media, my dear friends, is not confined only to the e-newspapers. Digital media includes all your social media handles, including the e-newspapers and the online media. A question arises in my mind, and I do admit that in today's scenario, a person who is writing something that may be on the Facebook, that may be on any social media, can we consider him or her as a writer? Yes. If you ask me, this is my personal opinion, that yes, he or she can be considered as a writer. My dear friends, when we are talking of the citizen journalism, journalism is now not confined to only to the postgraduate students or the graduate students of journalism and mass communication. When we are talking of citizen journalism, now each and every citizen of the universe, the globe, is a journalist. Each and everybody, a person who is writing content, maybe on the Facebook, that may be on any social media handle, or a person who is sharing a photograph, a visual, a video, whatever, he or she can also be considered as a journalist. So in the digital era, my dear students, we need to focus on few things. As I told you, that if you want to become a prolific writer, then you should be a voracious reader. Writing cannot be developed overnight. For that, rigorous practice is required. Rigorous practice is required. I'm telling you. The more you read, the more you write, your skills will be whole. You will become a good writer. Basically, as I told you, that the industry is in need of the big tech journalist. The industry is looking for the people who can work in different platforms. You need to develop content for the newspaper, you need to develop content for the television, you need to develop the content for radio, you need to develop the content for your online media as well, or the digital media as well. So being a journalism student, now more and more responsibilities that have come to your soldier itself. You need to focus on that. Now, let me tell you what all avenues are there in the field of digital media. If you are an expert, if you know the use of digital media, then I'm sure that you will be into the ocean of opportunities and avenues. I remember when the pandemic started in our country, we were all a little bit disheartened and demotivated, and we were thinking that how to cope up with the situation, how to conduct the online classes, how to interact with the students, how to interact with the parents, with the stakeholders. But now we are all comfortable in using the technology. The most important thing which we need to keep in mind, that we should use the technology. Technology should not start using us. The day when technology starts using you, things and the results will be different. Why I'm telling this? You cannot completely depend on the Google itself for compiling data, for writing a report, for writing any stuff. No. It should come from within your heart. That is the reason I say it is just like the rain. It should come spontaneously. That is the reason I say that it is a spontaneous activity. Nobody can impose you. Nobody can force you. So the era, so far as the avenues are concerned, now you see, if you are having a grip over the digital media content writing, you can become a social media manager. Everywhere, be it an educational institute or be it a pharmaceutical industry, everywhere they are in need of the social media managers, the technical writers, the copywriters, the press release writers, science writers, and many more. What not? Almost all the manufacturing companies, almost all the industries, they have now shifted to digital platform. So who will create the content for them, my dear friends? Who will create the content? It is the media students, it is the journalism students, it is the mass communication students. It is you who is going to create the content for them. And while writing for the digital media, you are dealing with the prospective customers, my dear students. You are dealing with the prospective customers. The content which you are writing for the digital media, you should always keep in mind that your content is going to be viewed not by your peer group members. Your content is going to be viewed by the whole globe. So you should be careful. You should not copy and paste. We are all blessed people. We are all blessed people. I'm telling you, each one of us. I give you the guarantee that each one of us, we are all blessed. The only thing which we require, that's honesty and dedication. With dedication, if you write something, and I'm sure that you will be able to produce very good stuff for the people. Why do when I asked that why do people they read only Times of India, only the Hindu or the Indian Express? The reason is being content. So whenever we are talking of content, whenever we are talking of the information, then we need to develop according to the interest of the readers. We are developing content not for ourselves. We are developing the content not for our family members. We are developing the content for the audience, for the readers. That to be, who are your readers? Gone those days where your audience was only restricted to Raipur, Chhattisgarh, or Delhi or Mumbai. No. Now, if you are putting your content in the digital media platform, that means your content is going to be viewed by the whole globe. So that you need to understand. My colleague, my co-panelist, Dr. Ilahi, may highlight some of the ethical points and the writing part. And I hope you will be able to enjoy his session as well. And let me tell you, before winding up, let me tell you one thing, my dear, the fellow participants, they are also here, some students, they are also here. One thing you need to keep in mind, if you want to become a digital media expert, you need to understand the know-how of the technology. If you know how to connect with, how to use the technology, that to be for the betterment of the society, that you need to keep in mind. Now I'm asking, I'm working as a professor and director of a school. I'm into different platforms. I'm in this meeting. I have joined another meeting. I'm having so many calls. Even Dr. Jha, Professor Jha, he was also playing different roles in a specific time. Now the pressure is very high, but we need not fear for that. Rather, we should take it as a challenge and we should go on moving. So with this, I hope the participants who have joined from across the globe, thank you so much for listening. And once again, thank you so much, Jha Sahab, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my experience and my knowledge with my fellow participants. Thank you so much once again. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you so much.
Professor Nayak, I was, all in the flow with you. What you were saying, it was so good to hear. I couldn't, switch on my mic. I wanted to hear you more since you were giving
but
so.
The thing is that Dr.
Yeah.
Sil, since Dr. Ilahi joins the session.
I know, sir. I know. I'll just give a brief about it.
Take only 10 seconds. One thing I just wanted to tell you that
yes.
Digital media or the online media can never ever replace the offline mode. This is what the reality
yes,
I'm telling.
Right.
This is what the reality. So with this, thank you so much once again. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Vipulji, I can see Vipul Pratap also. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So now we
So,
have with us.
Good afternoon, Vipulji.
Dr. Tawfiq Ilahi, and he teaches TV, film, and media at North South University, NSU, Bangladesh. He has been associated with journalism and mass communication at Daffodil International University, also at American International University of Bangladesh, AIUB. He has accomplished his MA and PhD on film and media studies from Hiroshima University, Japan. Apart from teaching and training, he has been working as a screenwriter for TV fictions, films, and directing as well. Dr. Ilahi's screenshot film Women of No Religion in 2019 has received international recognition for addressing the issues of human rights, social justice, gender equity, and religious rights of sex workers in Bangladesh. So, Dr. Ilahi, it is our absolute pleasure to have you with us. And sir, thank you so much for the patience you have shown and for the for waiting. So now we cannot wait to listen to you, Dr. Ilahi.
Yeah, thank you. I thank you and good afternoon all. I hope I'm audible, right?
You are audible, sir. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So actually, I'm not very good expert in terms of media writing or ethics, but since I'm teaching media and television journalism, and personally, I have been experience of working as a television reporter in national television, Bangladesh television, known as BTV. So I do have some ethics, and I do know some professional journalism and code of conduct. And as the previous presenter and professor, he was mentioning that digital media can replace the offline media. Anyway, I do agree to some extent with professor, and yes, of course, we do have the basics. Even whenever we talk about the journalism, for the case of online journalism, of course, we do follow the inverted pyramid. Anyway, so please allow me to share my screen. I will try to figure out the basics of media writing ethics in digital era. And I'm not focusing specifically journalism. I'll try to map out overall concept of media writing. Okay, so it's my honor to present something or to discuss something, even though all these things are gathered from the resource books and the referred academic resources. So we know the very basics, according to the Brian and others, how to be a good writer. And these are the bookish text, and I hope that students are going through all this text. I'm just overviewing and just generalizing once again. So we need to be brief, what I need to write down, what I need to focus, like precise. So what exact word that the audience, the listener, the consumer or the user, they want to grab it, they want to listen, they want to, even from the conversation or dialogue, even if we talk about the film, the exact what word like this. So be active in writing, and we know that the active sentences are preferable than the passive and imaginary. Yes, of course, since I am a playwright, I used to write my own scripts for my television fictions, for my TV reports, and even for my short films I'm working. So of course, imagination is the prerequisite for the creation that we need to go for to be a good writer. And be direct, yes, especially for journalism, or to disseminate information to the audience, to the listener. Yes, we need to talk, we need to write directly what's happening, as mentioning the earlier version, that offline, that the pyramid 5Ws like this, and be consistent and be aware. Is there any mistake? Even we talk about the writing media, I mean online media, digital media, or offline media. So the grammatical, the syntax, blah, blah, blah. But to write, basically it started with a basic idea. According to Aristotle, if we go for the literature that he defined in his Poetics, that the 6 elements of tragedy in terms of literature, we can even in the form of any narratives like literature or like a television news or report or feature, whatever, it basically started with a specific idea. So if I want to be a writer, let's start my idea and let's determine how I can put my idea into words. And that is the craftsmanship to be a good writer. And we need to map it out. How, why, who are the audience? Is it for print media, broadcasting, television, radio? There is a basic differences for television, radio, and the printed. While in print version, I do have the flexibility to write in detail, but for television, 1001 like this. That means within 1.5 minutes, I had to produce the entire report or television or documentary, for example. And in that case, I can utter not more than 180 words. That means within a second, I can utter only 3 words, like 1001 or I love you, like this. So we have to map out my entire design and then outlining and storyboarding similarly and revise. So there is a saying, for example, Ernest Hemingway, the first draft is a sheet work, So, and even if you go for the theory of Longinus, Horace and Longinus, yes, it said that at least 5 times you need to work on your script and from the draft, then again start writing, revise, and start writing 4th, 5th time. Basically, you will get the polished script. So these are the basics that I hope that we are during undergrad and graduate and postgrad, we have gone through all the referred books and all these things. So, and then let's talk about the media basics in terms of journalism and communication. The basics of accuracy. Yes, we have done the accurate. What is the exact figure who got accident or died? The accurate, not around or approximately 78. No, the killed person should be like exactly 78 people has been killed or died, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that should be exactly accurate and balanced. Yes, for example, in your case, we do have that kind of a political dilemma. For example, BJP and Congress. So while being a reporter or being a writer, I should write or take the interview from the BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, and the amount I'm writing and the interview I'm quoting in similar proportion I should do for the Congress. Otherwise, if I am biased to BJP or if I'm biased to Congress, that means I am involving myself or I do have some kind of, political support or like this. But in most cases, we are getting it. But journalism or professional ethics doesn't support that kind of imbalance reporting or writing feature like this. And then clarity, of course, within a story, of course, we need to know the story. What's that exactly? For example, the case of Titanic. Yes. So what's that? The Titanic, this is the chemistry between a vagabond and a princess like this, and the royal family. And what happened due to the accident? And it happened like, okay, so here is the tragedy. So within a picture or even the series of photo stories in Facebook, in Instagram, or in video story or visual story, or even writing the feature about the winter in Delhi or the air pollution in Delhi or in Dhaka, the crowd in Dhaka. So entire story should picture the ultimate clarity like this and detachment. Yes, a journalist in terms of journalism, a journalist being a reporter, I can't involve myself. So, for example, while India and Bangladesh is playing a T20 match or one day ODI cricket match. So I'm saying, oh, as a writer or as a news writer or as a reporter or journalist I'm saying, well, our Tigers are playing very good. Or you are saying that our Indians cricketers are doing something great. No, you can't involve yourself. You can't involve yourself. The theory is that detachment, you have to detach yourself. And rather, you should say that, the Indians player, or I can say that like Bangladeshi Tigers. And we found that during the 90s Gulf War, while the United States and how they have been biased in terms of disseminating or writing the news. And their headlines are like this: our soldiers, our U.S. Army or our air forces. No. This is kind of biasness. If you are a professional journalist, you should say U.S. Army or U.S. soldier. So the point is, a journalist can't involve. This is the ethics and equity. Yes, of course. All over the story, from the beginning to the ending, there should be equity. That's it. And if we talk about the case of social media manager like this, today the digital marketing companies or corporate, they are hiring kind of social media manager. And in that case, if you want to be a very good social media manager, you have to develop your social media writing skill based on the 6 C's. What's that? Yes, content. Content first. As I mentioned in earlier, that for any narrative, as Aristotle said, that six elements of tragedy, and that one is the basic, the idea. That means the content, and this is the original. What you want to do, what you want to show, what you want, and how do you want to grab the audience, or how do you want to catch the listeners? What kind of words you want to pronounce, or how do you recite? And that's the way. And community, yes, of course. We, the people right now, we are the community, a kind of academic or research. We are thinking about the digital age, and kind of we do have positive and negative sides, especially in terms of digital ethics and digital media ethics. Some scholar mentioned like this DME in terms of information communication engineering technology. So there is the threat. At the same time, we are getting some very productive and communicative, interactive way, but at the same time, we don't have any private life, actually. If you go for the film, for example, just take the case of Born Ultimatum, like this, Born Identity, Born Supremacy. Nothing is out of media. We all are exposed to media, and especially for digital media, and using that kind of gadgets and media convergence. So while I'm talking about the community and like the common interest, the common users for health group, for entrepreneurs, for business capitalists, or for academic, like we are doing, so that helps. So what and how I need to get involved, and what should I write, and what should I do in terms of curation, I'll go later. So that we need to build the community. Even in that case, we have to develop a skill and culture. Of course, we do share the South Asian, the Indian subcontinental culture. For example, whenever we watch a Bollywood film, is just think about our case. We don't. Our religious norms and values doesn't allow bed scenes or a kind of so romantic scenes. But if you compare the Hollywood, the Western norms, whenever the chemistry develops between a hero and a heroine, you see they start lip kissing. This is very common. It's very normal. And the open, nudity, sexuality is no. It's very simple. But for our Indian subcontinent, we do have tradition and 1,000 years of tradition. Even though we are trying to be modernized, but no, our norms and values doesn't allow publicly or socially that what to publish, and what not to publish, and how do we interact. And here is the creativity and conversation. Of course, we are getting the emails, and we are getting the emails. Thousands of news portals are developing, and in European Council there has been a law that if someone, any citizen write a post, and there should be the reply. And in that case, there is a kind of law or clause that reply in response to any kind of post, since the online media or the news portal are updating the news frequently. So it's my right that when I'm posting something, I'm commenting something, I am expecting that kind of reply, whether it is fake, whether it is authenticated, blah, blah, blah. So this is the thing that we need to develop the conversation and creativity, of course, using the multimedia and connection. Yes, what kind of people we are connected throughout this entire globe like this. Okay, so the point that we are talking the media writing and the ethics of digital. In that case, writing that Tagore or Shakespeare to be or not to be, that is the question. Okay, of course, that's basic creation. But what about the digital media? Yes, in digital media, we need some extra creative, innovative, and selling and grabbing catchy craftsmanship. What's that? This is called kind of content curation. The content creating, you are the original creator, you're producing something, you're writing the poem, you're writing the headlines, delivering, but I want to curate it. Okay, and how it works, finding, tagging, writing, communicating, updating from the external source, and the craftsmanship of curation, the skill of doing curation in social media in terms of corporate agencies, peer agency, advertising agencies, it works a lot. So you need to develop what to write, now how to use the multimedia. Is it all about the sound? Is it all about the video that thousands, that talks thousands? And since we know that a still photograph talks more than 1,000 words like this, right? So curation is kind of the basic fundamental skill. Even when you go for such kind of PR or digital media corporation, you will be taught how to be a very good curator. Okay, so it's not about that I can write very well the narrative. No, you need to develop your skill in terms of content curation. Then let's talk about the ethics. It's kind of, in terms of philosophy and applied ethics, we know what's that. Even though it was basically originated, the Aristotle's thought that ethics can be understood as a form of inquiry concerning the process of finding rational justifications for our actions when the values that we hold come into conflict. This is the work from books, and someone examines ethics as the science which investigates the general principles for determining the true worth of the ultimate ends of human conduct. I'm not going through all the stakes. I hope that you do know. And sometimes we used to make a mistake between the morality and ethics. No. For example, someone is poor, a blind man, he can't cross the road because of huge traffic. And I'm thinking, okay, I should help this guy, or I should hold the hand of this senior citizen and cross the area, because this is my morality, and I'm greeting my senior citizens or my relatives, namaste, assalamu alaikum. Why? Because I feel that way. This is kind of morality. But what about the ethics? Ethics is different. Ethics is kind of a duty, relating to duty, whether I should do it in terms of truth. Yes, even the impact of truth is harmful, but I can't refrain from disseminating the truth. Okay, that is the thing that ethics, in a sense, I mean, a set of principles. And according to Aristotle, as he explained in detail, and in two categories, that is intellectual and known as wisdom, understanding, prudence, and moral, courage, justice, and fruitfulness. But from Immanuel Kant's view, how he explains is basically on his theory of deontological theories, and he explained we could discern moral laws just as perceived laws. He argues that human capacity for reason enables us to know, that freedom enables us to act on them. For him, rationality and liberty are which we are obligated to act morally to carry out our duties and other. Yes, duty based. Okay, so now, okay, so here's the thought of Aristotle and Kant-based ethics. How do you explain? But the basic thing is, if you consider about in journalism and the media, ethics is usually defined in terms of set of principles and practices articulated in a code for journalists or media professionals, are to help them act responsibly. Yes, of course. And we know this SPJ, Society for Professional Journalists, and the basic four, seek truth and report it, minimize harm, in terms of gathering the news information and not to minimize the others' person privacy, as sir mentioned, in terms of copyright, in terms of while I'm reformatting the image, or cutting the video clips, using the specific tool to generate the distorted image like this. So, and act independently, be accountable and transparent. Yes, that is the issue, that we know all these things. But let's get some scenario, how ethics is working and how ethics is very significant. Even though these scenarios these cases are not taken from digital media, but there is a very deep relationship, how ethics, whether we call about the media, I mean printed version or any form of version, or even the digital media. Ethics always is essential and playing a vital role. Let's get this picture from my left. Here's the general author of The Hitler We Love and Why, and published of Did 6 Million Really Die, was handed the maximum allowable sentence under German law in 2007 for inciting hatred and denying the Holocaust. And in a sense, Holocaust denial is a specific criminal offense in several European countries. I mean, this guy, he denied the Holocaust. Rather, he advocated for Hitlerism, you know, and he was basically in prison. And this is the very, very sensitive case. If we talk about this, that you know that Hazrat Muhammad Prophet and the case of cartoon, you know, Flaming Rose Center commissioned the controversial cartoon caricaturing the Prophet Muhammad, published by Danish newspaper Posten in 2005. The cartoon sparked heated public debate about the balance between satire and censorship. Blasphemy was charged, violent protests and threats on the lives of the cartoonists followed. Yes. So the point is, thousands of people, millions of people believe in cartoon. Okay, and let me explain just one thing in the case of Bangladesh. Okay, for example, just maybe yesterday was Saraswati Puja. You're right, Saraswati Jiva, the education, right? The goddess of education, like this. We call him Saraswati in Bengali. Even I used to do the devotion every year while I was a student in university. I love Durga Puja and Saraswati Puja. And one of renowned senior journalists who actually popular for his news covering during the Gulf War, I mean the Saddam case. He several years back, maybe 3 or 4 years back, even he was kind of my adjunct faculty in a private university, and I was along with him teaching him. We do have a very good chemistry. What he did, he just visited a temple of Saraswati Puja. And somehow, I don't know, it's his feeling, somehow he used the term in expressing something that Saraswati Devi, and then Saraswati Devi is sexy. He mentioned the term sexy. You know what happened in Bangladesh? You know, even in India, if I say to a girl, oh, hello, you're looking sexy, it's kind of compliment, you see. But in Bangladesh, phenomena, what happened? You know, the producer and the receiver, there is the difference, because the masses, media masses and text always been negotiated, interpreted, whether it's dominant, hegemonic or rejected, blah, blah, blah. We know this. And what happened when the journalist, that famous journalist mentioned that, you know, there are a number of groups formed, especially the Hindu and Christian, there is a communal group. They took a very strong standpoint against that famous journalist, that this is kind of hard, or you know, to undermine someone's, you know, religious values. And what happened? He was teaching as an adjunct faculty in Dhaka University, the most famous, the oldest university in Bangladesh, Dhaka University, and he has been rejected. Okay, even my previous working university, he has been rejected, and finally he explained his own message, what he tried to explain. It's not about the arousing something, or you know, about something relating to desire. Rather, what he wanted to explain, he then tried to explain, and he officially try to get forgiveness from others. That's very, very, very viral case, you know, viral news, viral, and just only posting on the social media. Okay, so here is the case I was in the picture. And then let me talk about this. Yes, as I mentioned, if you go through the film, And we know the Hollywood films are showing how each and everything can be monitored, how the drone, without pilots, drone are doing blah, blah, blah. Even for the case of Hindi film, I watched it in Delhi in my last visit, maybe Uri, this surgical strike, right? This surgical strike, right? Uri. So very interesting. That means whether I am in my washroom or I am in my bed. Just let me explain another viral issue. Recently, Bangladesh, there is a video clip. What's that? It is said that this video, a particular investigative report, was conducted by Al Jazeera. And, you know, usually, yeah, I think even in the case of India, of course, in Pakistan and Bangladesh, the entire subcontinent, usually media or news journalists, they don't have easy access to defense, particularly military. Yes, and what we need to do, there is a ISPR, I mean, the professional spokesperson, and we media are invited and we get the information. So actually, we don't know exact corruption, exact internal issues that is available in internet or that is available in other form of press. No, why? Because it's highly restricted. And whenever we talk about the case of militarism and these states like Myanmar right now, you know what happened. Okay, so and 2 journalists were caught, and finally, after a long time, they've been released. Okay, so in Bangladesh, we found a video clip relating a high official, topmost high official, army person who basically his corruption and his relation with Prime Minister. And then there is the video goes viral, and the existing ruling party, they and the supporters, they say that must be staged. Someone staged this, especially from the opponent camps. I mean the BNP, Bangladesh Nationalist Party. But even I do class and I explain this one. No, it can't be entirely staged. Not possible. You know, I do have this gadget. Even I'm not turning it on. But Mossad, they do have that technology. They can hear me that what I'm saying to you. That's how you're getting the audio clips leakage. Even from your case, the member of parliament. I don't know exactly where, but maybe 2 or 3 members, they're watching the adult videos during the parliament, right? So, and that goes viral. So there is no private life. Here is, let's look at this one picture. Was privacy a more important right than freedom of the press? A court in Amsterdam ruled that the Associated Press, AP photographers violated the Dutch royal family's privacy by distributing photos taken of them during a skiing holiday in Argentina. Let's talk about the case of Katrina Kaif. I can right now remember that Katrina Kaif, while she was having good time somewhere with maybe Ranbir Kapoor like this, and the bikini dress, it was viral. I remember this, it is viral. So the question is the paparazzi, the news crew or the reporter. What do you think? Do you support in terms of ethics they can invade their personal life? What about you? Okay, so invasion of privacy presents special challenges in cyberspace. Digital technology facilitates news gathering. In theory, digitizing government records should create an unprecedented opportunity for citizen access and oversight. But many judges and legislators, driven by fear and access, will facilitate identity theft. Yes. Employment discrimination or other illegal conduct, instead curtail access to electronic files. Social media pose new challenges for the ethical journalist. Verifying postings can be difficult. Reporters should make clear when they utilize social media sites as basis for a story. They should exercise special caution when using information concerning minors, which could damage someone's reputation, or when using information that someone else claims to own, such as trade secret. The laws libel, privacy, and copyright still apply in cyberspace. So here is some text-based arguments from different scholars. I try to figure it out. Just have a look, 2 or 3. So traditional media's ethical guidelines makes sense for citizen journalists, bloggers, and other new media practitioners. But those who publish in cyberspace face additional challenges. Yes, bloggers, unlike mainstream journalists, often publish anonymously or use a pseudonym. In some societies, those who hold this controversial or dissenting views withhold their identity as a matter of personal safety, but those who speak anonymously still have an ethical obligation to be truthful, accurate, and as transparent as possible about conflicts of interest. As new technologies advance and diffuse, they often open up new ethical challenges that require new approaches. For example, digital media has made possible the emergence of citizen journalism. Yes, the now commonplace practice of individuals or groups on the street uploading videos, tweets, and so on, surrounding an unfold event as primary sources for professional journalists and news organizations. Accordingly, digital media ethics has turned to the professional ethics of more traditional journalism to develop a new hybrid ethics for citizen journalists. Digital media, for most of us, refers to the devices of our everyday experiences and practices, like computer telephone networks in various forms, including their ever-made mobile versions, CD, DVDs, and other forms. Okay, let me explain, just draw 2 or 3 cases. Jason Blair, a former New York Times reporter who plagiarized reporting from the San Antonio Express News in 2002 and 2003, in addition to fabricating material used in stories published in the paper. Don't you think Blair committed journalistic fraud? Yes, just fabricating the report. As a cost-saving strategy, a Chicago-based media company, Journalistic, employs more than 100 overseas freelancers in 2012, primarily in the Philippines, who collected online information and then organized and presented it as stories under false violence. Yes, keep in mind, under false violence to hundreds of United States-based writers and editors and publications. Ultimately, the public trust is violated. So we need to keep in mind that whether I am violating the public trust using false byline, and relationship between journalists and the public is damaged, as is the credibility of the news media and those who would report the news. Seeing is not believing. Image and video manipulation represent another significant error of commission in the digital age. National Geographic, very popular magazine, editors in February 1982 digitally moved an image of the Great Pyramids of Egypt to obtain a better aspect ratio for the cover of their magazine. Can you consider this as a professional journalism? In November of 2000, United States President Bill Clinton and Cuban President Fidel Castro did meet in New York at the United Nations, but they never shook hands.
Hello.
Yet readers of the New York Daily News might have thought otherwise, as editors created a digital composite image showing them 2 world leaders. So the technological changes challenge the foundation of media ethics. The challenge runs deeper than debate about one or another principle, such as objectivity. The challenge is greater than specific problems, such as how newsrooms can verify content from citizens. The revolution requires us to rethink assumptions. What can ethics mean for a profession that must provide instant news analysis, where everyone with a modem is a publisher? Anyone can publish anything, and you can see the pictures, right? According to Stephen J. Ward, media revolution has created ethical tensions at 2 levels. Firstly, there is a tension between traditional journalism and online journalism. The culture of traditional journalism, with its values of accuracy, pre-publication verification, balance, impartiality, and gatekeeping, rubs up against the culture of online journalism, which emphasizes immediacy, transparency, partially non-professional journalists, and post-publication correction. Secondly, there is a tension between parallel and global journalism. If journalism has global impact, what are its global responsibilities? Should media ethics reformulate its aims and norms so as to guide a journalism that is now global in reach and impact? What would that look like? Democracy and society depend on an ethical media system. In the digital age, an increasing portion of the citizenry is actively engaged in that media system as a consumer or producer, like you and me. Whether via news, social media, or entertainment, each person's actions or inactions are part of a global network and can contribute in making it an ethical digital media system. So before ending my discussion, just have a look about this picture. These are the just only few among hundreds of thousands of viral news. Here is a rickshaw puller incident. Actually, even it was there is a gossip whether the rickshaw puller is from India, because no one can verify, because there is a very emotional attachment that the rickshaw puller was asked to stop the rickshaw, not to cross the road in a highway in Dhaka. And what he did, he was very, very upset, and he just, in the middle of the street, he just keep his rickshaw upside down, and someone clicked the footage or video, and it was viral. Finally, there is impact. I mean, some political and some others control the issue, and they have given him a very new rickshaw and some cash. But there is a very, very, the discussion. Even some people say no, he is not a rickshaw puller. Even he's from India, like this. And the another one in Bangladesh, one of the most popular actress in heroine in Bangladesh film industry, known as Porimoni, and her relationship with a police officer goes viral, and then there are different kinds of allegations and digital act, and the cyber bullying or cyber act. So still it's going on. I mean, because he basically, this police officer was his officer in charge. He was investigating that case, but somehow he involved with that heroine, and there is the chemistry, and the news was very viral. And different, from feminist group, different argument, but from law and enforcement, different argument. There is a different taste. And since we, the audience or the reader, are heterogeneous, we do have different interpretations. Same. And the point is, to some cases, there is some exaggeration. And was it being shot, just invading her personal life, or or invading his privacy? I mean, these are the questions. Okay. And the third one, I know that you do have the perception about the last Durga Puja in Bangladesh. There is a rumor that someone put the Holy Quran in the temple of Durga Puja, and then someone take the picture or write something and post it in Facebook or Instagram that the Holy Quran has been kept here and just close to the temple or Durga Devi. So there is since Bangladesh is a majority of Muslim, it created kind of chaos. It created kind of the way someone mentioned that Saraswati Devi is kind of sexy, and there is since we do have 1,000 years of social religious belief and norms, that we don't expect someone write or say something against our values, against our religious values. Similarly, it was happened. Basically, it was staged, nothing else, or it was purposive. And to be honest, it's not that issue that Hindus are not safe here. Of course, we are living very coherently. We very close. Even personally, I'm used to go all the puja festival. I love it. Okay, but what happened? That someone incites, someone take the opportunity and there must be some political issues or controversial issues they want to create. So it was not that kind of big, but it happened. That's true. It happened. It happened. The vandalism has happened in some festival or temples in Bangladesh. So the point is that citizen journalism, they don't, or I'm just taking the selfie or picture in a religious Muslim mosque or in a temple while they're having the festival and write something. And the point is the ethics that I need to know, basically I need to know the basics media literacy, because the people, they are not media literacy. And I believe, I don't know in the cases India, in our Bangladesh school, there is no media literacy schooling or any chapter that is taught. So the people who are posting wine, I'm having party, wine. Even one of my teacher, he's the chair of the department in my university, professor, he has posted his profile picture while he's smiling to some style. But I was upset. Why? Because I thought that he's a professor, he's a very learned person, no doubt, and he's my direct professor, direct sir. But I'm upset that numbers of thousands of people are liking, sharing content, saying, wow, you look great. But I'm upset. Why? Because I know that professor, he has no media literacy. Otherwise, he shouldn't do it. The way Rajinikanth throwing the cigarette and catching up, and the way Salman Bhai keeping his sunglass backside this way. And we know that the followers, they are the icons. But for you, let me finish. For you and for me, we are the icons. We are the, to some degree, to some cases, maybe my students or maybe my neighbors, my juniors, my family members, they do follow me. So I can't promote smoking. So I can't promote, alcohol or promote the something that is not accepted in our norm. That's the issue. So it's a good opportunity for me to talk about something about the media writing. I mean, media writing doesn't mean only the text, but includes the multimedia, using the video, sounds, and the infographics, all these things. So to be a good writer during this digital era, we need to be media literate first. And of course, as Sir mentions earlier, that of course the writing structure or the basics like inverted pyramid, yes, they do have a significant value in terms of writing in digital media and different digital platforms. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Indeed was, the very important thing to be discussed, since we all are media professionals and we are getting trained on this stream. So we must carry this responsibility of not circulating fake or such news. And cyberbullying, which you took, was really, it is really a burning issue nowadays. We all are, not only celebrities, but a common person is also suffering from it. So as a media professionals, it becomes our duty to get trained and to carry on this message well, and behave the way society is structured and is going in a planned way. I would here request the students to come up with questions if they have any, and interact with the resource persons. If any one of you would like to raise any question.
Yes, Radhika Kataria is there.
Namaste, sir. I'm Radhika Kataria from BJMC. Thank you so much, sir, firstly, for giving us such great piece of information. Really, as Sheel ma'am said, it was very important for us to know about such kind of information like cyberbullying and all. As like media professionals, we'll be getting into that profession very soon. Sir, my very first question to you is, recently, even while I write or even I do any of the media related work, or also from the work from college, as we do internships, etc. So while doing that, we the important skill that I lack on is how to establish fact or how to present facts. Can you, if you would like to answer on that?
So you are asking me or the professor?
Sir, any of you would work. I have two questions, basically. One from any of you can answer this because I guess you both are into this. So establishing fact is very important in our profession. So that is the only question that I or thing I can.
So, Professor Suresh, you better answer this question, I think.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. How to, you asked that how to present facts. There is a saying that facts are sacred. Facts are sacred. Okay. Presenting the facts as it is one of the art of writing. Whenever you are writing for a particular medium of communication. Am I right? That may be for the digital media, that may be for the radio, for the television, whatever may be. Again, your writing is again specific to this audience. So whenever we are dealing with the audience, we need to understand that the audience or the readers, they are reading your content because your content is full of facts and figures only. Okay, so there is no shortcut to write the facts. Rather, I would say that you should present the facts in such a manner that the reader should feel glad and the reader should feel that, yes, this is what I was looking for. Is it okay, Radhika? Are you getting me?
Yes, sir, I get that point. But sometimes when even if we'll get after 3 years or 4 years, or even if we go for masters for just journalism course in our life, so we will be the person who will be getting our sources done or research is done. But there on how we should point out that yes, this is the fact. Like we know, India is a country. Yes, we know that's a fact. So that such kinds of fact, how should we establish that?
You see, the facts can only be obtained through the authentic sources. Facts, once again I'm repeating, facts can only be obtained through authentic sources. So now a question comes to our mind, what are the authentic sources? The authentic source may be a book by a publisher, or the authentic source may be the authentic and genuine website you have visited. Suppose, I'm just giving an example, Radhika, so that it would be clear to you. Suppose you want to understand right now what is the GDP of India, okay? What is the GDP of India, or what is the GDP of Bangladesh, okay? Or what is the current population of Bangladesh? So you need to visit the government website of Bangladesh. You need to visit that country's website, then only authentic website, then only you will be getting the facts and figures. If you browse in the Google that just keep total population of Bangladesh, you may get allied pages where you cannot get the authentic information. So it is always advisable whenever you are collecting the information, you need to go to the authentic sources so that your facts should be presented in a well-written manner. Okay? And there is no shortcut. I'm telling you, there is no shortcut to writing. How to write it, as I told you in the beginning of my talk, that writing is not at all a profession. Rather, it is a passion. The more you write, okay? So this is what you.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you, Professor Suresh Chandra and Honorable Sir and Shil. And I have to take leave because I have to catch up the class. I have back-to-back 2 classes. It would be nice if I can catch you later, and I hope and personally, well, everything will be okay. I'll visit you in Delhi. I have been in Delhi 3 times, so I'll visit you once again. And thanks to my dear friend Keshav Patel once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for taking our time and know the intricacies of media writing and the ethics which we must follow. So thank you so much for sparing the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shil.